Welcome to the den, everyone. So I have started, so let me make sure I can hear myself on it. Welcome to the den, everyone. Alright, I can hear myself. Let's go. Yeah, just kind of doing Lions talk. I noticed I missed a couple questions on my last Q&A, and yesterday I was just too busy to actually really do a Q&A, so I decided today was much better, and I also decided to give you guys more time, so that way if you actually wanted to come on the show, and go on there. So, yeah, just because I'm here to talk Lions, if people want to talk Lions. Yeah, I'm freaking loving everything. It sounds like some stuff has been going well. Sounds like Dean Marlowe had a couple pass breakups as well. Will Harris had an interception. Hawkinson, it sounds like Hawkinson has just been astounding at camp. So I'm hoping that continues, that translates into the regular season, and Hawkinson continues to play well. And I have also heard that Jeff Okudah is like predicting plays. So it sounds like he's starting to know things now, and he's being able to predict stuff, which is great to hear. Yeah, I'm very, very excited to see how this Lions football continues to go. And another part I'm very excited to hear about is it sounds like Jahlani Tavai is doing better in coverage as well. He's had some moments of looking bad, but nonetheless, I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of him. I also like that we haven't signed Todd Gurley. We got a price that we probably have set up for him, so I assume it's a cheaper price. And I really like to hear about that, because that would mean we're not going to overpay for an old vet. And that's really good. I think that shows that we're not the same old Lions. Another thing I'd like to see is it sounds like Sean Dye Hamilton has been doing a great job in coverage as well, so I think we may have honestly found our coverage linebacker. I really hope that another thing this regime doesn't do is we use the guys, and so I think if Alex Anzalone continues to struggle, I have not really heard any positives about him at all from my notes, and that probably means that I don't even think he deserves all that chance to start. I mean, Jahlani Tavai, in my opinion, is doing a better job in camps from what I've heard than Anzalone, although I have noticed that Anzalone is being much more involved. Yeah, I also just kind of want to talk about predictions if anyone wants to per se ask if they have differences on opinions. So, for example, I want to know what everyone's thoughts are on who they think will make some of the 50-man rosters. If they've seen my 55-man roster video, maybe they have some differences on who makes a team and who doesn't. Yeah. And I'm going to be having another video. I'm going to have a video about statistical predictions for those players that I have making it in the season. Also, another player that I've heard that is impressing is Tom Kennedy. Sounds like he's doing a very good job with speed and being a good player of burst, so he might even become a returner for us, which would be great. I really would love to hear that kind of story from Tom Kennedy if he comes from playing lacrosse and at a college like Bryant to being an undrafted free agent for the Lions to actually being like a player on the active roster, maybe even actually fulfilling a role with the roster, which would be great news to hear. Yeah. And then, yeah, just continue. And another part I've really like to see is I've also heard that John Adams Jr. beat out Amani O on a play. So, listen, what up, JGB? Welcome to the den, good sir. Gosh, I thought I was going to actually have to speak for like an entire hour to myself, man. I was getting worried there. It's going pretty good, by the way. So glad I don't have to use all these notes now. But yeah, just because if you want whatever you want to talk about, that's totally there, or whatever I guess you want me to talk about. He's there. Welcome to the den under second viewer. I don't know who the second viewer is. Oh, what up, Don? How you doing? Oh, dang. Oh, dang. That's fair enough, man. You think Luke would be fine with that? I don't know. Was that like self-advertisement in the... do you think he'd actually want that to be... I don't know. I always kind of feel uncomfortable going to other people's Discords and being like, hey, come to my thing. I don't know. But, I don't know. I might as well do that. Go to my channel. Copy link. Don be the pre... I don't... What's up, One Pride 40? Welcome to Dengetser. Dang, Don Burry's like juiced up, man. You're out here. I love that energy, man. Don, are you ready to eat some kneecaps this season, man? Are you ready to show everyone that we ain't the same old Lions next season by actually being competitive and seeing our rookies actually do well? So also, is this like an inside joke? What kind of president is my good Sir Don Burr? Don, the originator. Yes, I do. I don't know who you are. Are you someone from the Discord? Yes, we do, man. We have some pretty good guys for that. Just Levi O was a big example of that, where as me and Rams House were talking about, Lee McNeil's a heck of a guy to do that too. But it's pretty dang good. Oh, you're 12th man. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I do, good sir. I actually think I was on Luke's show the other day, but I don't know if I saw you on that stream now. Anyways, so you had no way of knowing. But yeah, I feel like it's still at the moment with news. Kind of, yeah. It's the off season right now, so a lot of the things that like people like me, content creators, have to do. We have to kind of like make early content. That's why, for example, I had my way too early, like 55-man roster prediction video. But also, you have to be creative. It also gives us a lot of time to review the past of our other players. So, for example, I talked about Jelani Tavai. That's what I kind of like about the offseason. We kind of review what went wrong, why does this happen. So it's kind of fun to review our past season, be like, okay, how can this do better than this? But, yeah. This time of year is always slow. Yeah, downward. And also, it's also kind of fun at the same time, because now you kind of have to wait and anticipate and think, okay, what's going to happen here? Make your own predictions there. I love the off season, because then you think about, okay, who's going to be good or not, and just the anticipation seeing of whose predictions are right and who was wrong. It's really fun for me. We honestly could. I'm not very scared of the 49ers next season. My biggest thing is they, in my opinion, have regressed mightily. If we go to their depth chart, really, it's only their offense. I'm not scared of their defense at all. In terms of offense, I mean, I don't know. I think their offense is the only thing that's really going to be in there, but I'm not scared of it. I'm not that scared of Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Jared Goff is a better quarterback than Jimmy G. I think our receiver core is going to be as good as the 49ers, honestly. And I think T.J. Hawkinson is going to be a fantastic tight end. So I don't think it's going to be like Kittle is going to be like this supreme, like, oh, production of play is going to be vastly different. And I think DeAndre Swift is better than Raheem Mostert. And I think Jamal Williams beats the rest of the whole almighty great 49ers running back core, and I do not think the 49ers are going to have that good of a pass rush. I completely agree. The NFC just did awful this year, man. The Packers got worse, in my opinion. I don't know what they were trying to do. The Bears are more of a future investment team right now with Tevin Jenkins, who I think is more of a going to be kind of raw year one, and Justin Fields is going to be sitting behind Andy Dalton. So I don't think the Bears really technically improved all that much. The Vikings will be good just because they're healthy. But my big thing is if Daniel Hunter plays for the Vikings. Because they really don't have any pass rushers outside of Daniel Hunter that really like terrify me on that thing. And as we all know, just from 2020, you need a pass rush in order to have a good defense. And they have some good D-line players, such as Dalvin Thompson. But if Daniel Hunter doesn't play because of his holdout, I'm not that scared of the Vikings. I think their offense is fantastic with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook, and a pretty underrated quarterback in Kirk. But I don't know. Cards got better and Rams got Stafford. Yes, but the Rams did not get a good O-line going. I'm very concerned about what the Rams are doing with that O-line of theirs. The biggest problem I have with the Rams is really that O-line. I think they should have addressed it more. And their draft was horrible. I mean, Tutu Atwell was a horrible selection. Ernest Jones is at best a run stuffer. I don't think he's going to be any more special than Jelani Tavai or even their old player, Micah Kaiser. And then, I don't know. I just think the Rams honestly didn't get much better last year other than grabbing Stafford. I do think in terms of talent, Stafford is better, but I do think it's going to take a while before that really kind of clicks for the Rams. Rams won't people think if they don't protect Stafford. It's good. Well, yes, I think you're right. The Rams also have some question marks. For one, we don't know how their offense is going to be run with Stafford being there with McVay. There's concerns, but the other thing is the big thing is one of the reasons our offense was so struggling these last couple of years was because they didn't have a deep threat. And if Deshaun Jackson gets hurt again, there goes their deep threat. And Tutu Atwell is very concerning. In terms of what Pam said earlier with the Cardinals didn't improve, in my opinion. They didn't get on the line. Sure, they maybe got a bit of a better defense with J.J. Watt, but then they also lost Patrick Peterson, so their secondary is not going to give them any time. Like, Pam, go look at their secondary, and like the only player that really will impress you is, I believe, Budda Baker. It's the only player that impressed me. Let's go to depth chart real quick. Yeah, really. Jalen Thompson's also a pretty good player. I can't forget about them, but they got some concerning players. Malcolm Butler was letting go by the Titans for a reason. Byron Murphy has been awful. Denard always has injury issues. Al Ford was letting go for a reason. Simmons is a question mark. I did like the selection of Zaven Collins as an A. But J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones will be good. But I don't know. You got to have time for your players. You think the Rams are overrated? I don't know. It depends on how well their line plays. They had a very 50-50 play in 2020, so I think McVay's banking on them like staying consistent. I don't know. I don't think a center solves your line problems. I mean, look at that rest of that line. Question marks everywhere. I mean, maybe a bit better, but I don't think it's going to be enough to stop Kyler Murray. I mean, they got the left tackle in DJ Humphries, who's a pretty underrated player. But I don't know. Is that O-line really good just to be solved just because they added in a player like him? They got a good left side. I will say that. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Cards. I think they're kind of going to be an interesting team. No, actually, he's a He's a Lions / Hawks fan, if I'm correct. At least that's what he presents himself as. At least that's what I think he said last time I spoke to him. He's on Luke G's Discord often, and he's 12. His name's 12 Man Pride or something like that, and he's kind of said he's a Bo fan, but I don't know. My biggest thing is I don't think a center is going to save the problem because, as we know, the Cardinals have had some O-line struggles. I just don't know if Rodney Hudson's going to fix it all, but I could see why. I mean, it's like having a Ragnow come in. That's definitely going to impact them, but I don't know. I just there's a lot of question marks for me with the Cardinals. I don't know how much they actually truly got better. I mean, AJ Green was a good addition, but I really don't know if he's going to be that much of an improvement over Larry Fitzgerald. I don't know. I think there were some NFC teams that did get better, though. I just don't think there's an NFC team that got better as the Lions. I think teams like Washington got a good improvement of an offseason. I really love their draft of Jamin Davis, Samuel Cosme, Benjamin St-Juste, Dyami Brown, John Bates, Derek Forrest, and I like Dax Milne and Shaka Toney. Those were really good selections. Who's my sleeper team for this year? If there's a team that I think people are sleeping on very heavily, is that's kind of hard. I think the football team is up there. I would probably say the Washington football team would be my underrated team. I feel like the Giants and Cowboys are always getting more publicity in Washington, but yeah, I'm going either the Raiders or the football team. Mostly because the Raiders, yes, they had a terrible draft, but they've also been so close every year to being good. And I still think that there's going to be improvements, regardless of the players they reach for. I really think that Trayvon Mulkenrig and Malcolm Kuntze and Tyree Gillespie are going to be huge improvement players. I think those are players that are going to be really helping. My big thing with the Bengals is I do not think their O-line and their defense is going to give them any favors. The Bengals do have the pieces I can see. I think they're going to be extremely explosive and competitive this year, but you got to protect your quarterback, and your defense has also got to make some plays for you. And I do not think the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to have a worse defense than the Lions. But the reason I kind of say Raiders is the Raiders have a very underrated quarterback in Derek Carr. They got Josh Jacobs, and now they got Kenyon Drake, who's an underrated player. They got Darren Waller. They have another season from Henry Ruggs, who showed flashes of being good. They also got John Brown, who I think is a very underrated addition. I'm kind of a fan of Brian Edwards. They have a really underrated player in Hunter Renfrow. In my opinion, they got 3 really good receivers, plus Darren Waller. Their O-line definitely has some question marks, but I think Colton Miller and Richie Incognito will be good like they normally are. I don't know how Andre James will play. I mean, we haven't seen anyone play for the Raiders at center in so long with Hudson being there. I think Alex Leatherwood will be solid, but it was such a reach to get him. I can't believe they didn't just trade back and get Leatherwood. But I think Leatherwood will be a solid player. Yeah. Everyone has their sleeper team. It's always kind of a surprise, I guess. Hey, maybe. Everyone's always kind of counting them out because they're the Bengals, but yes, the reach around Raiders every year, man. Every year. Oh, the Chargers. You think they're a slept on team? I kind of heard them get some popularity. Why do you think they are slept on? I've always kind of I've never seen I can get. Are you saying like they're going to win their division? Kind of sleep on? Because I've seen a lot of people say they're going to make the playoffs with Herbert in there. I'm curious. So if you could type in if you can what the reasons why you think they're a sleeper, that'd be kind of cool. What up though? What up, C Perry? Welcome to the den. Glad you're on the show. Yeah, I'm actually very curious about that because I do think that to an extent they are underrated. I considered about it, but I didn't really know if they kind of classified as a sleeper team. because I also kind of see them gain some publicity as like a potential playoff team since they had Herbert in such a good draft. But that's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. But I don't know. I think it's a good part, but I don't know. I think the Chargers are definitely going to be a good team. I think their head coach is a defensive genius, and their offense has not been the reason that they have struggled. It's definitely been a lot more of defense kind of choking out in the playtime, and they still got some pretty fantastic players on that team. If you could excuse me, I got to turn on my notifications so I don't have another beep like that go. But I just also just like their head coach is just a genius. I mean, he made the team. I think the Rams had like the 17th ranked defense or something the year before. Rams 2019. I believe they had like the 17th. Yeah, 17th, and they went to the first ranked offense. So their head coach is a defensive guru. Whoa, that is bold, dog. That is bold. Even with Aaron, that's a bold one. I actually really, I don't know, man. It's never bet against Aaron Rodgers is the thing. I don't think Aaron. I honestly if they don't have Aaron, I'm actually not scared of them at all. They have the pass rush and some pretty talented players, but I think honestly overall, I think the Packers regressed last season, and I think the large part why they're good is because of Aaron Rodgers, and that of course they also have a fantastic O line and with a great run game. Chargers are in a very good spot and could give Kansas City run for. Oh, so you think they're going to win the division? Or like you think they could? Oh, that's bold, sir. That is very bold. I like it, man. I would love to see Mahomes get dethroned. That would be kind of fun. I'm a big Mahomes fan, but to see him actually be challenged by his division is going to be a lot of fun. They got the players. I will say that they improved their O line. They got Brian Bulaga, Rashawn Slater, and they added Corey Linsley in free agency, and they got Oday Abushi, who we all know is a pretty solid guard here. They got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. I also like the selection of Josh Palmer. They got Austin Eckler still. And Justin Herbert is just fantastic, man. And I think he'll also develop a bit better with Chase Daniel. I think being in there, like another good vet in there. And their defense with Linval Joseph, Jerry Tillery, Joey Bosa, Kenneth Murray, Kaiser White. Oh, I could see it, man. I could see it. I don't see Joe Burrow. And Don, do you wait? And Don can't see Joe Burrow staying healthy. I could personally see Joe Burrow staying healthy, but my big thing is I think he's going to have a Stafford type of line. I think he's going to get sacked well over 30 times. I think he can get sacked 35 times this next season, and I think he will face pressure. My biggest example of this is if we go to the Bengals line. Not one of these players are top 15 at their position, other than maybe Riley Reef. I'm sorry, not Riley Reef, other than Jonah Williams. Excuse me. I do not think that is a good that I think the Bengals do not have a good line. Riley Reef, as we know, is a very inconsistent lineman, and the only thing he does good is not allow sacks, but he allows pressure and is not a good run blocking lineman. Jackson Carman played tackle his entire time in Clemson. He's going to have to be completely. It's not like he's just switching from one tackle position to the other like a Sewell, but then he's switching to a guard, and he wasn't even that great of an lineman at Clemson. Like it's not like he was a Sewell level. I don't think he'll be that amazing. Trey Hopkins is a solid center, and Jonah Williams is a pretty solid player, but he has very limited time and it's 50-50 year. We played them hard every year, losing by 1 or 3. We know the rest in the O-line, the Packers, don't be called holding because of Aaron Rodgers, just the QB to face Trey Flowers. True. We did have the Trey Flowers hand to the face play, and we were pretty competitive in all the Patricia era. So I do think that is very true. I'm actually pretty excited to see how we do against the Packers during the Campbell era, considering the fact that Patricia was as bad of a coach, and if Campbell's an improvement, who knows? Maybe that starts leading to wins over the Packers. I like your boldness, Don. I do like the bold. I can't pick him up in fantasy because it's well, don't go for him. Anyways, Kyler Murray and Josh Allen led in fantasy last year. Mobile quarterbacks are the way to go for fantasy, and I'm not even a fantasy guy. If you're gonna go for like fantasy, like kind of go for like Allen, Lamar, and Murray is probably the best bets you can have. Carmen stinks. Yeah, I don't get what they're doing. The Bengals should not have traded back and they should have gone Tevin Jenkins and moved him to guard. You love Mahomes? Who doesn't like Mahomes? The only people who don't like Mahomes, in my opinion, are people who hate like great, like successful players. I really like the guy. He's very good with his players, and everyone seems to like him. And that is a great thing, in my opinion. To tell you that everything's going well. So I will give him that. No running backs are a way to go to. Huh? No running backs are the way to go to. Are you saying because Mahomes doesn't have a running back that a good running back is the reason? Wait, what? Oh, sorry, you're meaning for fantasy. I'm meaning for the quarterback position. I don't know all that much about fantasy. I'm just gonna say that. Carmen's solid, but I don't think he'll be. He has the size, but I saw a lot of big V in him. My biggest reason for that is every scouting report I've seen on him is that he's a very stiff player, and I even watched a bit of film of him. But I don't know. I think he has big V type bad potential. Like I don't know. I'm very 50-50 on Carmen. He struggled. Well, not struggled, but he was never a dominant tackle when he was playing with Trevor Lawrence, and I don't think he's good. And he never played guard. Eclipse from what I've heard. So I don't think he's going to translate perfectly well his first year with Cincinnati. I think the best lineman on their, I guess, line is going to be either Jonah Williams or Riley Reef. And if Riley Reef's your best lineman, then I have a lot of concerns for you in your O-line. But I don't know. I kind of agree with you, though. I think the Bengals will improve. I think they get 7 this. I think they are going to be 7 wins, pushing to 8. I think they can be very, and I think it's good because of their offense. But I think they're gonna have a lot more bad games. I don't think they're gonna be that competitive. I think either it's gonna be a really good game for the Bengals or it's gonna be a really bad game for the Bengals. And I think most of the teams they're gonna beat are gonna be teams that have bad pass rushes. But yeah. Who is Flemo? Huh. Oh, I think. Wait, did the Lions face the Bengals this year? I don't remember. All right, I was kind of looking at that Carmen guy. I'm not Carmen, but Flemo. Oh, what's that schedule? Steps right. Oh yeah, we do face Bengals week 6. That's gonna be a good game. Who knows? Maybe you're right. We haven't seen the new Bengals, but I don't think there's really much of a basis on that. Who's going to help that defense? Trey Hendrickson, the unproven player. Perhaps it's Larry Ogunjobi, maybe DJ Ritter, Sam Hubbard. Yeah, this could be an improved D line. But Logan Wilson didn't do much. Jermaine Pratt didn't do much. Akeem Davis-Gatta didn't do much. Trey Waynes and Mike Hilton are both supposed to be slot guys. Eli Apple is horrible. And Chidobe Ori is a pretty solid player. Von Bell is pretty solid. And Jesse Bates. I don't think they're that good. If I'm being... I don't know. It depends on what happens. Once again, we have no basis. I don't know how good Jackson Carman will be because we haven't seen him play a single snap yet. But I'm not impressed with it. My biggest thing, Don, is O-line and your secondary and your D-line have to be good. And I do not think the Bengals have that good of a secondary. I think Mike Hilton and Chidobe and Jesse Bates are good players, but I don't think it's going to be great enough. And I have question marks about their pass rush because Trey Hendrickson has never played outside New Orleans, and he was a rotational pass rusher last year. So he's not proven to me. Sam Hubbard is solid, but not great. DJ Ritter is not much of a pass rusher, but he's a great run stuffer. Larry Ogunjobi is a pretty solid player as well. Yes, 100%. I don't get how you... I think their thought process was they brought in Riley Reeve in the draft to Jonah Williams. But in my opinion, you should have moved Jonah Williams to guard and just drafted Sewell. Then you would have had a way better look in the line. I think they'll regret passing on Sewell because I believe that there's other great receivers in this draft, and I do not believe there's any tackle who's going to be anywhere as good as Sewell, and I believe there's receivers that are going to be around as good as are going to still be completely fantastic. Like Chase, I don't think no one's going to be as talented as Chase, but I think when you already got T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, and there's a bunch of good receivers in this draft, you should have gotten Sewell. Yeah, I can agree to that, Don. I think they get treated pretty badly, even though for some things. I don't think they're going to be 0-16. I don't think they're going to be completely awful. I don't think Joe Burrow is going to get sacked 50 times, but my biggest thing is they also have stuff I don't like about them. I think the Lions themselves also have it better, and I think we're a 7-win team to maybe 8. First off, let's look back at their past season real quick on why let me look at the past season and tell you why I'm worried about them next season. First off, their defense was ranked 22nd in the league. That's pretty bad. Now, granted, a large portion of that was their pass rush. So they added in Trey Hendrickson and Larry O. So they kind of addressed it. So, I don't know. As I said, I'm very 50-50 on Trey Hendrickson. Romeo Okwara had as good stats or better stats than him, despite the fact that Okwara played with the 32nd ranked D-line. I'm sorry, not D-line, 32nd ranked defense and one of the worst pass rushes in the NFL. Facts. Yeah, honestly. I will say, at least, I still believe in Okudah. I really like the progress I'm seeing from Okudah from camp. What up, Bo? How are you doing, buddy? Welcome to the den, good sir. But yeah, I really, really like what the Lions have done compared to this season. I really like every player. I think Tyrell Williams is a fantastic player. Just look at my video for it. The man is a great all-around player who's at least had 1,000 yards. We drafted well. There's not a single draft pick I don't like. That never happened. When Bob Quinn's last draft frustrated me. Our number one issue was pass rush last year, and we drafted one pass rusher, Julian Okwara. I did like Okudah, but I would have gotten Derek Brown. I would have gotten some sort of other pass rusher, like the 4th. or someone to actually help out that pass rush. Because if you're going to draft Okudah, you got to make sure that guy actually doesn't have to wait 5-8 seconds to actually cover. But I do like Okudah. I like Okudah more than I liked Isaiah Simmons. But I'm hoping that with the additions that we have with moving Trey Flowers and Okwara out to outside linebacker, plus a healthy Julian Okwara, plus Michael Brockers, plus a Lee McNeil, plus Levi O, plus hopefully an improved secondary with a development of Okudah, plus you bring Quinn Dunbar, and then you also brought in Afitu, and then you also are hoping from a developmental season from your safeties. I agree. Who's my sleeper team in the NFC? Washington football team, honestly, if I'm going to be honest with you. They had such a good draft and no one really was talking about it. But if I had another team I think that was kind of underrated, is also in the East. But I personally kind of liked the Cowboys draft as well. Micah Parsons and Kelvin Joseph, great additions. I think Jabril Cox was a steal. I really like Simi Fehoko. That's a great receiver. I think Osa is a good potential 3-tech player as well. But I completely agree, Bo. I love everything. We're finally investing in trenches. We finally had a good draft. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, the only players who I don't think will make the roster in the next year is Jamar Jefferson, maybe. I really, really like him, and I think all our guys can have a role besides from maybe Afitu. And the only reason Afitu I don't think will have a role is not because he's not talented, because he has to beat Quentin Dunbar, Amani O, and Okudah, and Mike Ford for at least something. So he's got a lot of competition that he's got to beat, and it's not because he's not talented, but because he's playing against guys who are talented and are veterans. You kind of wanted Javon Kinlaw. Well, Kinlaw had a bit of an interesting season. We'll see what happens with him. I kind of wanted him too. I love that guy's size. Yeah, I don't know what he was trying to think. If we give our pass rushers a bunch of time by getting a bunch of good corners, then we're going to be good. Sleeper team, NFC Panther. Ooh, you think the Panthers are our sleeper team, huh? I liked their draft pretty good. I love the additions of J.C. Horn, Terrence Marshall. I think Brady Christensen and Tom. I think rounds 1 through 5. Actually, I like their entire draft. Their entire draft is just fantastic. All those players I could see make an impact. I do think the big question is Sam Darnold. I'm not a huge Sam Darnold fan, honestly. Who's not really a sleeper? The Panthers? Oh, I don't know. The Panthers, I think, are a sleeper. No one really hypes up the Panthers. The Eagles. The Eagles, I really dislike what the Eagles have been doing these past seasons. I do not know what they're doing. The selection of Devontae Smith was their only selection I really liked. At least they invested in the line of Landon Dickinson, but I don't think he's to be that fantastic. Center Milton Williams, I am not that huge of a fan of. I think he was one of the more overrated players in this draft class. I don't think their corners going to be all that much. Keenan Gainwell was a good selection. Marlon, I don't think will be that fantastic. Taron Jackson might be a steal. And I just don't like the Eagles. I don't think they're going to be good. Philadelphia Pigeons. Oh, yes. Okay, I know what we're calling them from now on. The question is where Melifonwu. I don't think Melifonwu does anything this year. I think he's a developmental pace that we got. I think we're gonna maybe see him okay. At best, I think we're gonna see him do everything. Melifonwu can play safety, free safety, strong safety, slot corner, number 1 corner, and outside corner. He has the potential just to do anything he wants. So I'm very excited to see what Melifonwu does, but I think he's probably going to be a bit developmental, especially if they are planning to put him at corner, because he's going to have to be Quinn Dunbar, Amani O, and Okudah, who are all, in my opinion, good corners. I hope so too, man. That is the position that's worried me the most about our team, is our safety core. Tracy Walker is coming off a down season, although I believe he'll bounce back, but Will Harris and Dean Marlowe are very, 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 very big question marks. But I also trust in our secondary coaches in Aubrey and Pleasant and Aaron Glenn, and I think they can develop them. Yeah, for sleeper teams, yeah. I think the AFC is a bit better than the NFC, but the NFC, I think, just kind of didn't do as well as the AFC did this offseason. What do you think we spend the rest of our cap on? Apparently, maybe Todd Gurley. I don't know. I hope we save our cap for next year, and I want to save as much money as possible so that way we can kind of like take like an Indianapolis Colts approach and make sure we have cap for bigger players if needed. For example, and how they had enough money to pay for Buckner and still have a bunch of cap is very good. I do think we might bring in a safety if need be. I think we're probably going to save the money at safety. So in case we maybe need to bring in like a Kenny Vaccaro or Malik Hooker. I like that. Pizza parties, yes. Aw, look at the wholesomeness. Yeah, honestly, yeah. I think the Panthers, the Lions. I thought the Bucks had a pretty solid draft too. The Vikings. I think the Saints had a terrible draft. But other than that, I think every other team. I don't know, but it depends on how he plays. I don't think the wins are really going to necessarily mean much to me. I know that Goff himself is going to have to be facing a lot of trial. He has some question marks at receiver. As much as I like him, they are question marks. He has the question mark of Big V, and if Sewell does translate well at right tackle, he has the question mark of a terrible defense. My big thing is it's got to be the play. If he plays well enough, if we have the losses, or sorry, not the losses, the losses, then I don't care all that much. If he's playing bad, then I don't really want him all that much. Maybe draft a quarterback and have him for one more year. AFC's way better, yes sir. You save your own cap space, that'll be a cap carryover. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're saving our money for someone bigger. Maybe a trade might happen. I don't know. How much do we even have left in cap? Does anyone know? To the we still have 14 mil in cap space. Yeah. So I don't know what we do. You shouldn't be focal pointed. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. If he's horrible in the next 2 years, he should be gone. I agree. It's just all good depend on how the team is. Really, for me, I even am worried about year one. If he's like as bad as he was late 2020 or 2019, then no, don't trade for him. I know, but that's my only thing, and I think we could possibly trade maybe if there's someone. You got to remember we do have draft value, so maybe if like we're making like a playoff push, or there's just a player that's really good that we can get for like a 4th round draft pick or something. Because remember, we got Snacks for a 5th round draft pick. We got Michael Brockers for a 7th round draft pick. So it's definitely possible that we could get somebody for not having to give up the rest, but he might still cost money. I don't know who, but it could be somebody, and that's my theory. I hope we use our cap. I don't really want to have a cap carryover, like you said, but I think what he means is we shouldn't be investing everything into Goff, is what he means by focal point, which I think is fair, because we don't know if Goff is going to be good or not, so we shouldn't like invest our entire franchise into him. I'd lose my mind if we did that. Yeah. I don't know. I don't. If only if we do like a big time trade, like a superstar trade, then I agree with you. I'd be upset. But if we can get like someone on a cheaper deal, like we only have to trade like a 4th or something, then yeah, I'd be down for that kind of a trade. But I don't know. I don't know what we could be doing possibly with the rest of this cap. Maybe we're trying to persuade someone to come. That would be there. Yeah, Goff shouldn't be. I think Goff should be a bit more of a focal point, though. He's our quarterback, so we should be focusing on our quarterback. And I think, considering the fact, especially since he took such a command, everyone's really liking him. I think we should build around that quarterback. Make sure he does. So what coaches and GMs are on the hot seat? Mike McCarthy is on the hot seat. Zach Taylor is on the hot seat. I think Kyle Shanahan's going to be in the hot seat at the end of this year. Mike Zimmer's on the hot seat. I think if the Rams don't get to the playoffs, I think Sean McVay could be in trouble. Maybe, depending on how bad the Rams are. I think Cliff Kingsbury is on the hot seat. I think honestly next year there's a bunch of teams. I think in total I'll give you my options on who I think would be on the hot seat. Zach Taylor, Matt Nagy, Mike Zimmer, Mike McCarthy, and then I think Kyle Shanahan could be in trouble. Cliff Kingsbury could be in trouble. I would say Gruden, but Gruden has the contract, so they're probably not going to let him go for a while. And then I think that's honestly really it, other than maybe possibly Matt Rule, Carolina, if they completely bomb. So are you not a believer in Goff? Is that why? Is that why you don't think he should be a vocal point? Because I think he's a fantastic quarterback. I think he could be, honestly, have a far more successful career than Stafford. I don't know. I just think you should focus on your quarterback. Your quarterback is your leader. And I don't think we should invest the kingdom into him. I don't think we should be like, okay, let's give Goff a huge contract and then only draft players around him. But I think we should say, hey, this is our guy. He's our future, and we're gonna draft players for him, even bring in players that make sense for him. I think that's what you gotta do. Especially you gotta put Goff in. You gotta make sure you put everything you can to make sure that Goff succeeds without destroying your future. That's my take on the Goff situation. I think he plays admirably well. There's a couple things I wanna show you guys that I'm gonna put into the chat if I can find it. Let's see, where did I put it? Man, I've talked way too much on Discord. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Look into this here. And then look at this little thread here after the stream is done. And those two things are just going to kind of an example that maybe McVay was not as good as everyone thought. My big thing is with Goff is he plays good with a good O-line. Look no further than 2017, 2018. He was a top 5 quarterback. And at the beginning of 2020, he was doing extremely well when his O-line was playing well. But then you start to notice a stretch when the O-line starts giving up sacks and pressure that he starts failing. And then my biggest thing that I also say about Goff is he has better stats than guys like Brady. He has better stats or as good as stats as guys like Brady, Breeze, Manning, and Stafford. And some of his stats that are lower are only lower because he had to come in mid-year with Jeff Fisher as a rookie quarterback. Goff a focal point because folks try to believe it or not 2 years top before he turns up to 4 or 5 win seasons. But year 3 for rookie quarterback, that losing season, Campbell hot seat. I do not think Campbell's going to be on the hot seat. I believe Campbell's going to be successful. No, it wasn't. Goff was the focal point. Gurley was the star, but Goff was a success. Goff had his struggles, but so did Gurley. Gurley was a big point and reason why they were good. I will admit that. He's a large portion. It's just like Nick Chubb and Baker Mayfield. But that's exactly it. Baker Mayfield is the focal point of the Browns, but Nick Chubb is a huge portion of it as well. I don't think Malik Willis is it. I'm more of a Sam Howell guy. Malik Willis lost to Bo Nix in the quarterback competition and plays the small Liberty competition. And I'm not a big fan of running quarterbacks as well. I think Goff is it. Goff has gone to a Super Bowl. He's only had one losing season, and that losing season was with Jeff Fisher. I think people forget how much of a winner Goff has been, and he has some good stats. There is some. Has everyone here watched this video? Will convert you to Jared Goffism video in this, and watch the Jared Goff versus Matthew Stafford video. Those are kind of my big Goff videos. Our run should be a focal point, but they should not gradually let him take out as much. Exactly. I agree with Bo. Well, I don't know if I agree with Bo on this one, actually. I believe the focal point should still be Goff. The quarterback is a leader, and if the quarterback cannot handle pressure, especially when he's a veteran quarterback like Goff, then that does worry me. I like Grayson McCall. He runs a pretty interesting offense. I don't know. He has some good stuff about him. Grayson McCall. Yes, he has some good size. 6'3", 200 pounds. He had a good touchdown pick ratio, 26 touchdowns with 3 interceptions, and he averaged 10 yards per throw with 68.8 completion percentage. But he runs a very interesting offense for me. He ran 111 times back in college. He has potential. All right, see you, Bo. Thanks for coming to the den. It was an absolute blast to have you on the show, man. And go have some good dinner, bro. I can see that. I saw the comparisons too when I watched highlights of Grayson McCall. I do think he's a good player that could be in there. I would not mind drafting a guy like Garrett. I nearly said Garrett Grayson. Grayson McCall. He has the size and the arm, and I do like that he's mobile. My biggest concern is once again competition. The best team I think he faced was BYU. So I have my concerns if he's only good because he's facing smaller competition. I think he'd definitely have to be a SIP player. Be right back. All right. See you, sir. See you, sir. But Gurley was the focal point. Yes and no. Gurley was as much of the focal point as Nick Chubb was for the Browns. Yes, he's a big piece of the offense, but the player who ran that offense and that offense relied on good play was Jared Goff. If we go to the 2017-2018 season, Los Angeles Rams, because if we go there, let's see, yeah, Todd Gurley had a lot of success, correct? But Goff also had his own success. My biggest thing as another example is Todd Gurley had that amazing beginning to his career, but then they completely trashed in 2016. What is the difference? Goff had good quarterback play. Gurley went from 4.8 yards per carry to 3.2 and didn't even reach 1,000 yards or even 900 yards. Goff comes in, gives good play, then Gurley played well. Gurley had 279 rushing attempts. That's a lot of rushing attempts, correct, but there's a focal point for a team would be like Derrick Henry with 378, Dalvin Cook with 312, Jonathan Taylor with 232. I'm sorry. He definitely was used a lot, but that is not true, Don. Sam Howell does not have a noodle arm. He had 49. Watch my video about if Jared Goff doesn't pan out. Sam Howell was one of the best deep passers in football. He's a really strong arm too. I don't know what you were watching for that one. I mean, respectfully, but Sam Howell has an amazing arm. I say he only like 2 quarterbacks maybe with a stronger arm than him in the next draft. If we go to Sam Howell, you have to look at he had 24 49 deep ball attempts of the season. And this is according to 247 Sports, who even gave him at least 20 yards past the line of scrimmage. He had a 50% completion percentage, and he ranked 8th in the country in deep ball completion percentage, behind of only players like Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Oklahoma's Spencer Rattler, and Florida's Kyle Trask, and Justin Fields. Another good mark of this quarterback is his ability to throw under pressure. He had a 53.6% completion percentage when throws under pressure, which ranks 8th best among quarterbacks at least 250 dropbacks on the season. Those completions under pressure have gone for 731 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 2 picks. He is an absolutely fantastic quarterback. North Carolina functions extremely well under him. He's improved North Carolina's team. He's obviously shown his arms. He had 49 passing attempts and had 50% completion percentage. He's a very, very, very strong arm with a lot of success at it. I'll share the 247 Sports article on him. But he also, according to Pro Football Focus, had the second best college football season since Trevor Lawrence. I disagree. We saw Cam Akers going crazy, and Goff had his struggles. Gurley had bad games, and Goff still didn't do much. Los Angeles. Hold up. I'm going to show something for you real quick. If we go to 2018, where's the? Let's see. Where am I looking for here? What game am I looking for? The Seattle game. Goff had 321 yards and scored 33 points when Gurley only had 77 yards. The Minnesota game. Goff had 465 yards. Gurley only had 83 yards. Goff's game against Arizona, where they won 34-0. Goff had 354 yards, and the best rusher was Malcolm Brown at 46 yards. The Philadelphia game. They lost this, but Goff had 339 yards, and the team scored 30 points when Gurley only had 48. Goff has played well with bad run games before. Then the only game that I would really say that he really struggled without Gurley would be his 2019-2020 seasons where Gurley majorly regressed. What has Spencer Rattler done? Does he had legal trouble, or is he lazy or something? I've only really looked into Spencer Rattler's play, like his highlights, and I've seen some of his stats, but maybe. I like DJ. He's a good quarterback. I don't know about that one. I think the Lions are actually are they actually going to go in there? What's the news for Hard Knocks? Because I actually thought we might. I would kind of like the Lions to get Hard Knocks. I have a fan who asked me in the comments, so things would be good. What was his yards per carry? Well, those games I mentioned. For the Arizona game, he had 2.2 yards per carry. He did have 3 touchdowns, except all his scores were in the red zone. It's impressive, except he didn't do all that much. The Seattle game, he had 3.5 yards per carry. Let me make sure I'm remembering everything correctly. Mentioned. The Minnesota game, he had 4.9. He was pretty solid, except he had 0 touchdowns, and he only on 17 attempts. I mean, he looks like he only had and his longest run was 10 yards in the game against Minnesota. So he was just kind of being like a 4-yard player. I don't think we're going to be bad for 2 years. I think we'll be bad this year, but I think we'll be a lot better in year 2. And I don't care what the fan base thinks. I know how teams build. Teams as bad as ours do not build immediately good. That takes 2-3 years. I mean, I think we're going to be very competitive this next season, but I also think we're going to be playoff team by year, at least pushing for playoffs year 2, and a definitely playoff team year 3. The fan base will turn on you in the first game. Yeah, I agree with Brian. Yeah, I hope we're stuck with Goff. If we're winning games, that means Goff is playing well. Oh, is that for real? How does a team qualify for Hard Knocks? Oh, yep, you're right. Wow. Well, that sucks. I'll have to tell my person who wanted us to come to Hard Knocks if we can't go on there. That sucks. I personally would have liked to see that, because that's just Hard Knocks just sounds like a show that would totally be like Dan Campbell-esque. So maybe next year. I don't know what Don did. What did you do, Don? But I actually want to readdress this. First off, what basis do you have that we're going to be losing the next 2 years? We don't know. We have a very similar offense to the 2017 Rams. We do not have a number 1 receiver. The 2017 Rams did not have a 900-yard receiver. They had an even worse tight end, and they also have a good O-line. We're supposedly supposed to have a good O-line. Their defense wasn't that good. They were ranked 17th. They were pretty dang average. Who says our defense can't get amazing? I'm not saying the 2017 Rams were average, but the team the year before, they were pretty dang average. Who says our defense cannot improve? We have no basis. We have not seen a single snap under the Dan Campbell era. Who says we are going to be bad, or that this team is not going to be any form of exciting? I just like what I see from the team. So I'm going to be going for about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to be hopping off, guys. Actually, I'm only going to go 10. I got some stuff to do. So any form of discussions that you guys like, any more like questions or topics that you guys want to talk about, I guess would be good. Oh dang, I'm losing viewers. Sorry guys. I hope I was still entertaining in this live. But yeah. Dang, I went from like 7 to never mind. I went up to 4. Cool. But yeah, I guess whatever you guys do want to talk about, because I got stuff to do. But I don't know. I like what the directions team is going for. We're investing into trenches. We're investing into our teams. Our players are being excited. There's teams that are motivated. We got players who are actually allowed to laugh and have fun. I think we're just going to improve. I like where we're going. We're drafting well. We're bringing in players that are actually solid. So what teams do I have speedings? It's been a while since I made my prediction video. Let me look at our schedule. I have us beating San Francisco, Baltimore, Chicago, Cincinnati, Philly, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Denver, and Atlanta. Actually, take away the second Chicago game. That's Thanksgiving. I think we win more than 2 games. I think we're much better than a 2-win. Well, what would it be now? 2-15? Yes, I think so. I think I think half of also next year is if we are an 8-win team. I think we're also kind of worth 7. I'm kind of iffy on the Baltimore game. I just think we're capable of beating Baltimore. I think the biggest thing we're gonna have to look out for is re-signing the players, because that means there's going to be players that we're going to have to focus on re-signing, such as Tyrell Williams, Rashad Perriman, for example. We're also going to maybe have to look to extend some players on the team, I believe. The thing is, we at least got our own line, the boring guys in there, but we also maybe might need to extend Quinton Dunbar, Dean Marlowe, possibly. So I don't see. I don't think we'll ever overpay for a player in a long time again. At least I don't think we're gonna have a Bob Quinn overpay ever again. I think we're only gonna bring in smart players. Just look how smart we've been in this free agency. There's not one player I don't think that we overpaid for, especially based on the player that they currently are playing as. I do not think we overpaid. I think really the only person that you could really say could maybe be an overpay is Romeo, except I think Romeo was fantastic last year, and I think he'll continue to play as well as he did last year, or even get better at it, what he's doing. But I don't know. I don't know who we could bring in next year. I think maybe we could bring in free agency like a receiver. I don't know who the receivers are for next year. I'm not focused too much on next year's offseason all that much. But there's some fantastic players. Oh, what up, Rams House? How you doing, brother? I love the symbol. Is that like a Gears of War Fire Nation symbol? I've never asked you that. I agree. That is definitely I don't know. I think it depends. I mean, overpays happen. No GM is perfect. I will say that. But I do not think we're ever going to have like a Bob Quinn overpayment that we have like a big V ever again. I think we're going to have a Jesse James. Devontae Adams is free. You think, oh man, that would be hilarious if we could get Devontae Adams and steal him from the Packers. Tim Boyle and Devontae Adams reunion. Oh, nice. And I'll have you know, Rams House, I have defended Goff a bit in this stream. I even shared some of I shared the Matt Waldron thread, and I shared your little article you shared tonight at Luke G's Discord. But yeah, I don't know. One Pride 40. I'm not really going to care too much about free agents until it's free agency time. Really, a lot of this since this is a first year regime, you have to be. You have to. We'll see what happens. This is an impossible team to predict. I do not think anyone predicted what the Lions were going to do this draft season, other than Sewell. But I bet you even a lot of people still had us taking a receiver, such as Louis Riddick, who thought we were going to take Devontae Adams, even though Sewell was on the board. I don't think a single person predicted us drafting 2 defensive tackles, or even waiting till the 4th round to draft a receiver. We're going to be learning. We're going to be learning with this regime and what they're going to be doing. I completely agree. This team has shown that they are much more conservative than what they were. Brad Holmes has really only got 1-year deals, or has gotten people on steals for deals, such as Tyrell Williams, and he's also. I also think such as 1-year deals is all we've done so far. How will he be conservative? He was training up for Sewell. I don't see the problem with him training up for Sewell. He said he thought about it, and I don't believe the rumor that he was trying to trade up with Cincinnati at all. That's one report that was never confirmed by the Lions organization. They talked about it, but it's kind of like how Brad Holmes was talking about how they thought about trading up for Levi L. They probably, if the team did contact other players, they thought about it. They probably called about it and said, "Hey, what kind of deal can we get?" And I think the other thing is, at the end of the day, he didn't do it. Oh, hey, perfect. He put this perfect. He didn't. He thought about it, but he did. Just like how he said he thought about how he was about trading up to select Levi Onwuzurike. He thought about it, but he didn't. It's just, you also got to realize that obviously, apparently, by the looks of it, Brad Holmes is a very energetic guy. He wants to get his guys, and he's very excited about it. And I think that's a big example of what he's going to do. Yeah, exactly. You got to see what you can do, and any GM will do that. People called in probably to try to see if they could trade up for the Jags first pick. I bet you. I bet it's just trying to see, okay, what can we do? I mean, teams still tried to call in when Sewell was available as well. Remember, Brad Holmes said people called us when Sewell was available, but we knew we wanted Sewell. Yeah, agreed. Well, who's behind most of your good drafts? Brad Holmes? I mean, he's had one good draft. But here's my big thing with Brad Holmes is he is a genius of a drafter. So far, this is the first time I actually think the Lions draft may have almost every player actually be a meaningful starter for our team. I think Sewell is going to be a right tackle, and he'll be a fantastic player. And I think Levi Onwuzurike is going to be a fantastic player. I honestly think he can be a Sheldon Richardson type of player. I think he's going to be an amazing 3-tech. Lee McNeil, I think he's going to be fantastic. Me and Sunbros Gaming actually talked about that in our Luke G's Discord. The guy is fantastic, and it's just an amazing player. I'm very excited to see what happens with him. I think Ifitu is going to be a great player. I think he's just going to be our versatile chess piece that does everything, kind of like how we had in Diggs. And then Derek Barnes, I think, is going to be a fantastic player. I think Amon-Ra will be a fantastic player, but I do have concerns if he's lazy. After watching that one video with who was it that talked about Amon-Ra? St. Brown kind of catching the ball lazily at his pro day. I don't remember who talked about that, but yeah. 5 deer legs in a mailbox means there's one more deer. That's Holmes in a nutshell. Huh? Hold up. 5 deer legs in a mailbox means there's more than one deer. That's Holmes in a nutshell. Welcome to the den, this old helmet? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, he's the guy that drafted not drafted, but advocated for John Johnson. He also is the same guy that advocated for Aaron Donald. He's the same guy that advocated for Cooper Kupp. He's been credited with finding Cooper Kupp, I believe, and John Johnson. So he's a pretty dang good talent evaluator. Oh, yeah. I just couldn't remember. Didn't you say you had a pro receiver who broke it down why he was catching lazy? Rams house. He didn't pound the table for it. Didn't he pound it? Yeah, he totally did. For him. Who does Brad Holmes for drafting? He's also the one that said the Lions should invest into Jared Goff. So let's see here. I don't. Brad Holmes facts. I know he's had credit for Cooper Kupp. I know he's had credit for Aaron Donald, Jared Goff, and John Johnson. I know there's someone else. I believe he's the guy who said the draft Tyler Higbee as well. Lions. I can't find it. I can't find the article. Yeah, sold. Hey, glad you're sold. Honestly, this guy is also way better right here. Rams House he is way better at selling Goff out than I am. Like this man knows like Goff amazingly well. No, okay, there it is. Rams House. This guy knows everything you need to know about Jared Goff. He's just a monster at it. He like the guy was just fantastic at. Like I was at first, I was a very big Goff hater. I was like, he's a means to an end. I'd rather draft Sam Howell, and I don't think it's going to be that good. And I mean, he sucks. And this guy just changed my mind completely on it. And I hadn't had like stats to try to say that he sucked. But this guy just completely changed my mind. This man's like does everything. Taylor Rapp. Yes, that's who it was. He also advocated for Taylor Rapp, who's also a pretty solid safety. I also believe in Holmes. I believe in our current regime. If Goff doesn't work out, we got 4 first-round draft picks. We're going to be fine. We got draft picks to replace. We got a bunch of players, and if Goff doesn't work out, I don't care. We got the players. Probably. I mean, I'd be upset if you got as good a scout as Brad Holmes to leave. I mean, if he's found, especially because he found like the best players in the Rams. He's the guy who found Johnson, Kupp, and Donald and Goff. So I don't know. It's probably I could imagine. Yep, yep. He was upset. Yeah. But I don't know. I just think we got good right now. We got communication. We got Aaron Glenn who's saying. Not Aaron Glenn. Michael Brocker says he's the best communicator I've ever had. We've got a head coach who's motivating players. We got a GM who's drafting well and not doing terrible free agency deals and drafting well. Like I'm a bit crazy about this new regime. I think it's going to go really great. I'm not. I think Tyler Williams is a fantastic receiver. I really love Quintez Cephas. I really love Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I think Rashad Perriman is also a very serviceable receiver. I also think people forget we have TJ Hawkinson. And TJ Hawkinson I think will be a top 3 tight end next season. And he was a top 5 last year. He's a fantastic player with more potential. He's been doing great in camps. I think people also, Louis, C. Perry, I want you to go to the 2017 Rams stats real quick and look at their players and look at the amount of receiving yards that their top receiver had. Just a bit of a lack of think. Just look at what they had. Ooh, Ray Agnew? Is that what you're talking? Or are you talking about Jamal Agnew? Jamal Agnew went to Jacksonville. Ray Agnew's our assistant GM. I don't know all that much about him. The reason I am so excited about the regime is good drafting, good free agency, motivational players. We're bringing in good players as well. We're not overspending for players. It's just completely different from the past regimes. And we're not relying on old veterans. We're not bringing in players from past regimes that are old and cost a lot of money. For example, Patricia kept bringing in Patriot players. Caldwell just couldn't draft. All he could do was bring in free agent players, such as Reggie Bush, who was old and had one good year of us. I'm more excited about this regime than I have been in any other. I love what they're doing. I think we're going to be a great team for the future. Sorry, at the moment I was there. But I don't know. So, does anyone have any more questions here? I think I'm about to end the stream. I've been going for nearly an hour and 20. And I got some gaming to do. And also just some chores to do as well. But yeah. I think we're doing great. I think there's just communication among our front office and everything. So if anyone has any more like questions that they want to talk about or topics they want to bring up, now's the time. Because then I'm gonna end the stream. Because tomorrow, by the way, I'm going to be doing a video on Big V. I don't know if there's any hope for him. And then I'm also going to be doing, I'm going to be trying to do my first film review soon. And yeah. And then this is unofficial, but there might be a Roundhouse with John Kapler, Dat Dude Live, and our very own Rams House here, and me. Hopefully, sometime. I don't know the official date on when we'll do it, but that's what we're hopefully gonna be doing that. I kind of talked to Rams House about it today, and John Kapler already, and he's down for it. I just need to talk to that dude, and I need to talk when Rams House is down for it, and when that dude is down for it. But yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all. So, thank you guys for watching. It was a blast talking with you. Thank you guys for being my viewers. I am having a blast with this channel, and see you guys later. Oh, no. No, never mind. That's for Ram's house. I see how it is, I see how it is. It's all Ram's house now. Just kidding. I'll see you guys later. Have a good time, and Aubrey Pleasant's a legend. Jan Ramsey gives him all the development. Bye, guys.